Alright, what's up, guys? This is part 2 of the review. Um, Hopefully it's not going to be another hour, but probably will be because I'm going to actually have gameplay in it. So I try to make these kind of long. I mean, I try to keep things short, but, you know, I want to be in depth with my reviews. I try to also be as unbiased as possible. And the thing is like the reason why I'm going so in depth is I want somebody to understand what this game's about before they buy it. So it's like I don't want you to sit there and believe everybody else's bullshit reviews that are all biased as fuck. Like, oh, I hate this game, it's a piece of shit. You know, I want you to look at what I'm doing and come to your own opinion of what you're seeing. You know, I want you to look at it and be like, oh yeah, this game's a piece of shit, or oh no, this game looks pretty damn badass. And, you know, I could tell you the controls on a game is all kinds of fucked up all day, but it's not true all the time. And, you know, it's really about the player, you know. A lot of games have controls that you can adjust on your own, so it's just like, you know, a lot of times having shitty controls isn't really a huge issue. You just change your controls. But you know, some games it is. Sometimes they don't have a very comfortable loadout, and they might have 3 preset loadouts and no customized loadout, and then you end up with a game that has just 3 shitty loadouts that suck to play, and you have to get used to this way of playing a video game that just feels uncomfortable or just weird compared to other games. Like, I got into that with Ubisoft's The Crew 2. The flying controls. It's as if they completely ignore the fact that airplanes have a lot of different flight surfaces. And instead of going about it in a way that's like, you know, like everybody else does their fucking flight controls, from Battlefield to GTA, you know, those are 2 different genres of gaming that have done flying and have done it well enough. And the thing is Ubisoft decided to do their own thing and not just go with an arcade control, but go with a control that completely limits the aircraft. So it becomes extremely irritating to try to fly an aircraft. And so because they did that, and they did it in Far Cry 5, they just ported that control scheme over. It was just like, you just ported over the shittiest part of Far Cry 5. Like, I love flying in video games. Absolutely love it. But in Far Cry 5 and in The Crew, they used the same controls and they were just fucking stupid. It was as if the aircraft doesn't have any ailerons or anything. It's just like, which are the flight surfaces on the wings. So, you know, basically they just don't have all the flight controls. It's just like, why would you have an aircraft that only have rudders and the stabs? Like the horizontal stabs. And it's just like, you know, the aircraft also has flight controls on their wings. You know, that's kind of how aircrafts like gain lift to get off the ground. So they just completely ignore it, and it's just like, this is just stupid. So I understand where like controls and stuff come into play, but at the same time, I don't want my reviews to break down to, oh, the controls suck, therefore the entire game sucks. If the controls are significantly broken, like that of Far Cry's flight controls, I would mention that, and I would explain in detail what the controls are like and how the control scheme can't be changed, and that it's just the game mechanic that does it, not really the control scheme itself so much as how it flies itself. And so I don't want to like just put information out there and claim that it's information when it's not really valid information. I can't say something sucks because it sucks. You know, if I'm going to say something sucks, I want to explain why I feel like it sucks. For example, in Battlefield 5, you cannot counter knife. I don't like that you can't counter knife, because I've been stabbed in the chest because I was getting shot. So this person shot me twice and then stabbed me in the chest. Instant killed me, couldn't counter knife or anything. And I don't like the lack of a counter knife. Still, if you knife somebody in the back, it's an instant kill. And the knifing in the front, you have to stab somebody a couple times. So it doesn't like instant kill them in the front. So they took away the instant knife kill kind of thing. But the thing is they also took out the counter knifing, so somebody can walk up and fucking stab you a million times. So if you're like looking down a scope, you usually don't have enough time to, you know, do anything about it. So it's a little irritating. Whereas before, if somebody tried stabbing you in the front while you're looking down a scope, a little emblem would show up to counter knife and you could do it. So a little annoying. But I'm going to go into something else now, since I've already explained how I'm doing my reviews and why they're so long. So you got a bunch of different fucking game modes. I'm guessing that the Tink Combat fucking map is just a map on Conquest. That's what I'm assuming. But I liked it in Battlefield 3 when they actually had like a full-on list of maps that were for armored combat. I thought that was really cool, and I hope they bring that back, and it looks like they're going to try to. They're just kind of doing like a test, more or less, to see if people actually want it. But, so you got Conquest. If you haven't played Battlefield or anything like that before, Conquest, you're basically going around, you're capturing points. And it's a large-scale map, so there's vehicles like tanks, there's helicopters, in Battlefield. In this Battlefield, there's helicopters, but there's aircraft still, like bombers and fighters. And, yeah, everything's at your disposal, basically. Grand Operations is like a 3-day game mode, so you play 3 different maps. Each map is considered a day. If you win or lose one map, the next map gets affected by that in some way, shape, or form. Be it like you have more spawns, or you have air support or some shit like that. I didn't like Grand Operations in the first game because it was literally just like Conquest and what's it called? Like, felt like Capture the Flag mixed with Conquest, and it was just irritating because it was like if I wanted to play those game modes, I just play those game modes. In this Grand Operation, they actually make it a little different, and I like that, how they try to make it different. The spawns are a little irritating sometimes in Grand Operation, especially when you're doing the parachuting in, because people will hop on AA guns and they'll sit there and shoot at the aircraft as they're flying in, and they'll just constantly fire. So you're basically sitting in the aircraft waiting to deploy so for the AAs to overheat, so then you can jump out without getting shot by AA. But you still have like enemies and stuff, and usually at that point you're pretty far past enemy lines, so then you're basically spawning in the enemy spawn, which is really annoying because then you're basically getting instant killed. And if you try jumping out with the AA shooting at you and somebody in the AA knows where to shoot the aircraft, then you're instant dying from explosives. So that can be a little annoying. But they definitely fixed the AA from Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1, you could shoot the AA from like all the way across the map with no fucking issues. And in this one, they heavily limited the range of it. Also the damage output, so it doesn't like fuck you up in an aircraft with like 2 rounds. Team Deathmatch, I feel like I shouldn't have to really explain Team Deathmatch, but for anybody who doesn't know what Team Deathmatch is, 2 teams, they get together and they charge at each other, and whoever gets the most kills wins. And in this Team Deathmatch is set by tickets, so every kill reduces your tickets. Whoever gets the kill count, ticket count reduced to 0 first loses. Breakthrough. Don't really remember what Breakthrough is. Hold on, let me read that. Oh, okay. So, more or less, the enemy team is attacking and the other team is defending, and you're trying to break through the enemy lines. So you're running in, you're placing a bomb, and then you're defending that bomb. And once it goes off, there's another section you're doing the same shit in, and it then, when both bombs go off, it pushes the enemy line back, or it pushes the line back, and then it goes like that until ticket counts are reduced, and then it flips sides, and then the other side gets to do the same thing, and whoever pushes the most in or completely defeats the other side, they get to be the winner. Frontlines is infantry-based combat. There's also regular frontlines. So there's frontlines and frontlines small. They both generally have a reduced number of players there, but thing is it's mostly infantry combat, and it's kind of like Conquest, but there's only one point to capture at a time, and everybody's going in like a chain. So there's a single point, and the enemy team and you are trying to capture it at the exact same time, so the entire teams are massing on this one location, and then whoever captures the point, then they push forward, and it keeps doing that until you push them back to their base spawn. When you're back at their base spawn, you then try to plant a couple explosives, and that's how you win the game, is by planting those explosives. Now the game continues until time either runs out or until both the explosives are detonated in the enemy bases. So I've seen games go all the way to a person's the enemy team's base and then get pushed all the way back, and then they ended up winning against us. And it's a little more intense because the combat is centralized to one location, and then on top of that you're trying to push at the same time, and it gets pretty intense. So the only time it really breaks off to combat being in two different locations is when you place the two bombs, which, you know, is pretty intense, because basically the team kind of breaks off and they try to either defend two objectives, or they all mass on one location and try to defend that one location and forget about the other. Domination is basically smaller Conquest, so there's a handful of points on a map. The map is reduced in size. Yeah. Zero servers. What? What are you talking about? How can you have 0 servers? One server. Okay. Alright. What? Alright, I think their servers might be a little messed up. Or extremely packed with people. It's snowing where I'm at, so it's possible. It just had you set up like that. What the fuck? You have all of the servers? There's 3 available? Okay. Frontlines, Twisted Steel. Fuck it. Let's do it. Let's do it. So I like what they did here, because before it just kind of cycled through, you couldn't actually change this to look at anything, and it didn't really tell you what you needed to do or anything like that. It was just like, hey, these are daily orders, but it didn't say like what they were. It just said, would say like the name of it. So it's good that they made it so I can actually sit here and cycle through it and, you know, look at it and be like, how close am I to it? So I can also still pull up my people if I want. Oh god, I froze it. Okay, I confused it. Alright, so another thing that's good to note is the support class. It says engineer as my sub group, so I'm gonna play as support for a second. Now the support has a they need to fix that. Support has an ability to build shit faster than any other class. So like right now I just pull out my hammer, I can build this at twice the rate of any other class because I'm playing as an engineer. Which is pretty important. And on top of that, the support class is the only class that can build like machine guns inside nests. So instead of just putting down a bunch of fucking sandbags, you can actually put down a fucking machine gun. Oh my god, a medic that's actually doing medic things. It's so rare. Ah. I'm just gonna lay down and take it. Same guy. You're doing things, dude. You're doing things. I haven't played as engineer in so damn long. Or support, whatever. I've been playing with the MP40 for a while, so. So as you can see, this is Frontline. So we're trying to take that red point, the only point on the map, which is Delta. Which I don't know why my fucking squad's way the fuck up there, but they are. Obviously, they don't know what's up, but, yeah. So in this game, they allowed for, crouch sprinting, which is really fucking cool. So you never had that in any other Battlefield before. So you can actually be like crouched down and kind of sprint while doing it. Behind me? Really? It ain't easy killing people, I guess. Especially when they're in front of you, right where you spawn. Okay, that's getting annoying. Why am I getting shot from our spawn? Like, are you guys just running past the enemy? Like, come on, guys. Like, I need you to advance properly. Oh my god, everybody just died over here. Fucking shit. So I've been playing a lot of Red Dead Redemption, so my aiming isn't exactly on point. Oh my god. Really? Right in front of my face? How the hell? I literally spawn here. That's behind our spawn. Like, what the shit, guys? How do we have enemies behind our spawn? Like, that takes a significant level of just sucking. So that MG34 is a mounted machine gun. That's important to note because it doesn't. It's not a very good machine gun in close, like, if you're running and gunning with it, because you can't shoulder it. It's a pretty big ass gun, which is cool that they added that in because those machine guns are designed to. They have large fucking capacity magazines, and they also. Like they're the big ass box mag fucking machine guns. You're not gonna be carrying that shit. In war, those kind of machine guns have entire like a crew for it. So there's a reason for that. So in this game, they implemented that by making them mounted machine guns that you can't holster. So if you mount it up on something by using the bipod, you fuck shit up. But the thing is when it's not mounted anywhere, it's not very great. So yeah, same basic loadout as every other Battlefield. So Assault, which is basically your engineer from previous Battlefields, is your tank destroyer. Medic is obviously a medic. The support is doing the support thing. He's also an actual engineer, so he actually can build things that other people can't. And recon is, recon. There's not a whole lot to recon. It's just, you're a sniper.